I never thought I'd open the footage alone. Months had passed since I first downloaded it, and every time I looked at the files, my stomach twisted. But tonight I was alone, completely alone, and I told myself I was ready. I set my laptop on the edge of the desk. The only light in the room, a dim glow from the screen. The hum of the fan sounded deafening. I clicked the first clip. It was just my street, empty, silent, nothing unusual. I leaned back in my chair, trying to breathe normally. Then, in the corner of the screen, something shifted. A shadow. At first, I thought it was a trick of the streetlight outside. But it didn't move like a branch. It moved smoothly, unnaturally. I squinted, leaning closer, heart hammering in my chest. It stopped, right in the middle of the camera frame. And for a terrifying second, I felt like it was looking at me. Not at the camera, at me. I froze. My fingers hovered above the mouse, trembling. My mind screamed to close the footage, to shut the laptop and run to the kitchen light switch. But curiosity, or stupidity, won. I leaned in closer. Frame by frame, I watched it again. It wasn't human. Its shape was tall, thin, featureless, like a shadow someone had stretched. It shifted slightly, almost as if it knew I was watching. I swallowed hard, the dry lump in my throat growing. My chest felt tight, my hands clammy. I could hear my own heartbeat echo in my ears, louder than the laptop fan. The shadow paused, then it moved again, closer to the camera. Every instinct told me to stop watching. Every part of my body wanted to flee. But my eyes stayed locked on the screen. I noticed the timestamp flicker. It jumped, skipped, and then repeated the same second over and over. I shook my head, whispering, "It's just a glitch. It's just a glitch." But deep down, I knew that something was wrong. This wasn't a glitch. I leaned back again, suddenly aware of my room. The floorboards creaking under my weight, the stale air of the night clinging to my skin. Then I noticed it. The shadow paused again, and I swear it tilted its head, as if it was studying me, measuring me, waiting. My stomach twisted into knots. I wanted to shut the laptop, run, and never look back. But I couldn't. I had to see what happened next, and that's when I heard it. A soft click behind me. My chair creaked. My eyes darted to the dark corner of the room. Nothing. I told myself it was just nerves, but the shadow on the screen moved closer again. And I felt it, watching me. I told myself I was imagining things. The shadow on the screen. Maybe it was a trick of the light, a glitch in the footage, but my chest wouldn't stop tightening, my hands refusing to stop shaking. I leaned closer again. The figure wasn't just in one camera anymore. It appeared across multiple feeds. My backyard camera, the neighbor's porch, even the streetlight footage at the end of the block. Every single one of them. I clicked between clips, heart hammering. It stayed there, moving slowly, unnaturally, almost aware I was watching. Every motion was deliberate. It paused at the edges of the frame, as if measuring me, waiting for me to look away. I didn't. My mind raced. This can't be real. It's just footage. It's just a shadow. But even as I tried to convince myself, my gut twisted in terror. I felt seen. I leaned back in my chair, glancing nervously at the dark corners of my room. The sound of the floor creaking under my weight was deafening. A draft brushed my arm, cold and sharp, making me shiver. I knew it wasn't the wind. I wasn't alone, and the thought froze me in place. On the screen, the shadow shifted again. This time it moved toward the camera lens, slow and deliberate, almost like it knew how to manipulate the footage itself. I swallowed hard, throat dry, feeling a lump forming. I should stop, but I couldn't. I noticed the timestamps glitching in an impossible sequence. They repeated, jumped, and overlapped, creating a loop of events I hadn't noticed before. It was as if the figure wasn't just moving, it was controlling the footage. My breath came in shallow gasps. I couldn't tear my eyes away. Then something even worse happened. In the reflection of my laptop screen, I saw it, not just on camera, but reflected behind me. I whipped around. Nothing. Only my darkened room, empty, silent. but my skin crawled. I felt it there, just beyond my vision. Watching, waiting. I tried to focus on the video again. The figure's movements became bolder, more deliberate, almost taunting. It paused at doorways, edges of rooms, its featureless face, or lack of face, staring at me. Every instinct screamed to close the files, run to the hall light, lock the doors. But I couldn't. I had to see what it would do next. And just as I was about to close the clip, the timestamp blinked one last time. And for a brief moment, I could swear it looked directly at me. Not the camera, me. I shouldn't have stayed. I should have closed the laptop, grabbed my keys and left the house. But I couldn't look away. The next clip was from my own hallway camera. At first it looked normal, empty, silent, safe. Then I saw it. The shadow moved down the hall, not fast, not running. Slow, deliberate, every step silent, impossible. Yet I could feel its weight in my chest. I froze in my chair, breath catching in my throat. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell myself it was a glitch. But it wasn't. I knew it wasn't. I watched, helpless, as it paused at my bedroom doorway. The footage showed it tilting its head, observing the room. I recognized the space. My bed, my dresser, the chair I was sitting in. It was in my house, not just on camera, in my house. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped my laptop. I could feel sweat sliding down my spine. My legs refused to move. Every instinct screamed at me to run. But my eyes were glued to the screen. It moved again, closer this time, toward the living room camera, then my hallway, then, almost impossibly, toward the camera in the kitchen. I couldn't make sense of it. It shouldn't have been able to appear in multiple rooms at once. But it did. I tried to rationalize it. Glitches, camera overlaps, reflections, hallucinations. But nothing explained the way it paused in each frame. As if it knew I was watching. As if it could feel me there. I grabbed my phone to call someone, anyone, but my fingers froze. In the reflection of the dark screen, I saw it again. Closer than before. Featureless, tall, impossibly still. Watching, waiting. My heart was hammering so hard I thought it would burst. I whispered to myself, "It's just footage. It's just footage." But the sound of my own voice sounded foreign. Weak. I wasn't in control. I wasn't safe. I leaned forward, eyes glued to the screen, desperate, terrified. And then I saw the timestamps glitch again, repeating, skipping, looping. And for a brief moment, I saw it pause and tilt its head toward the camera, like it was aware I could see it, like it was watching me. I told myself it couldn't leave my house. It was just footage, just a shadow. But then I checked the neighborhood cameras. It was everywhere. Not just my street, not just my backyard. Every feed I opened, my neighbor's front porch, the corner store down the block, even the alley behind the house, showed the same tall, featureless figure. It moved slowly, deliberately, pausing at corners, lingering in doorways. It wasn't random. It was calculating, watching. I tried to rationalize it. Multiple glitches at once? Impossible. I shook my head, whispering, "It's just coincidence. Nothing else. It's nothing." But my heart knew better. I watched a clip of my neighbor's driveway. The figure appeared there, then, impossibly inside their living room. I froze. My hands gripped the edge of my desk. The shadow didn't just move. It appeared. I thought about calling someone, anyone, but I couldn't. Even my own voice sounded strange in the silence of my dark room. The creak of the floorboards, the hum of my laptop, the faint whistle of wind outside. It all felt amplified, like the world itself was holding its breath. Every camera feed glitched the same way. Timestamps repeating, frames skipping, creating loops that didn't make sense. And every time the loop reset, the figure was closer, closer, closer. I leaned back, trying to convince myself I was overreacting. But then I noticed something worse. It wasn't just moving through cameras. It was tracking me. In my backyard, in the alley, even on the street I would drive down in the morning. It appeared as if it knew where I would be next. I swallowed hard. My throat was dry. I could feel sweat dripping down my neck. Every instinct screamed at me to stop watching. But I couldn't. And then, in the corner of one of the feeds, I saw something that made my blood run cold. It paused, turned, and looked directly at the camera. Not the camera. It looked at me. And I swear, in that moment, I felt a presence behind me. I didn't move. I couldn't. I was trapped, watching something I couldn't understand. Something that knew I was watching it. Something patient, waiting. That's when I realized something that made my stomach drop. The footage wasn't just changing. It was reacting. I paused one of the clips, needing a second to breathe. My chest felt tight, like there wasn't enough air in the room. The shadow on the screen froze with the video. I stared at it, my finger hovering over the mouse. Slowly, carefully, I pressed play again. The moment the footage resumed, the figure moved. Not naturally, not like before. It turned its head, slowly, deliberately, and faced the camera. I felt a cold wave rush through my body. My arms broke out in goosebumps. My mind raced, searching for an explanation. Any explanation. But nothing made sense. It felt like the thing on the screen knew exactly when I paused it. Like it was waiting for me to press play. I tried another clip, same result. Pause. The figure stopped. Play, it moved again. My hands were shaking now. I wiped them on my pants, trying to calm myself, trying not to panic. "This isn't real," I whispered. But my voice sounded small, unconvincing. I rewound the footage a few seconds. The video looped, but the figure didn't reset. It stayed exactly where it was, like it wasn't bound to the recording anymore. My heart started pounding so hard, I could feel it in my throat. I leaned closer to the screen, my reflection faintly visible in the dark glass. That's when I noticed something I hadn't before. The shadow wasn't just watching the camera, it was watching me move. When I leaned forward, it leaned forward too. When I tilted my head, it tilted its head. I jerked back in my chair, nearly knocking it over. My breath came fast and shallow. "No," I said out loud. "No, no, no." I slammed the laptop shut. The room plunged into darkness. For a moment, everything was silent, too silent. Then I heard it. A soft electronic click, the sound of a camera activating. I slowly turned my head toward the hallway. The small red light on my indoor camera was on. Recording. I hadn't turned it on. I hadn't touched anything. My skin crawled. My mouth went dry. I could feel my pulse in my ears as I stared at that tiny red dot glowing in the darkness. I opened the laptop again with shaking hands. The live feed appeared, and there it was, standing just outside the frame, close enough that I could see the edge of its shadow bleeding into the image, waiting. I shouldn't have touched the laptop again. Every instinct screamed at me to stop. But my curiosity, my fear was stronger than reason. I opened the next clip. It was my bedroom camera, the one I thought had been unplugged months ago. The feed flickered, and for a moment I thought the camera was broken. Then I saw it. The shadow, standing in the corner, completely still. I froze in my chair, my stomach sinking. I had unplugged that camera myself weeks ago. There was no way this could be happening. I leaned forward, my breath catching. The figure tilted its head. It didn't just move on the screen, it shifted its position in the corner of my room. Closer now, darker, almost like it knew I was watching. My hands shook violently. I tried to shut the laptop, but my fingers felt heavy, uncooperative. I whispered, "It can't move when the cameras are off. It can't," but it was moving. Slowly, carefully, calculated. I got up shaking and glanced at the unplugged camera on the shelf. The red recording light was blinking faintly. I didn't touch it. I hadn't touched it, but it was recording. Panic surged through me. I backed away from my desk, stumbling slightly. My own apartment felt unfamiliar now. The shadows of the room stretched and twisted around me. Every creak, every flicker of light sounded amplified. I could hear my pulse thundering in my ears. I opened the laptop again, desperate to see what it would do. The figure was gone from the corner of the room on the feed. I exhaled shakily, relief washing over me. But then, I saw movement behind me in the reflection of the darkened screen. I spun around. Nothing. Just the empty room, moonlight casting shadows on the walls. I told myself it was my imagination. But the laptop chimed, a notification I hadn't allowed. I turned back to the screen. The shadow was there. Not in the footage, not on the camera, but somehow, in my apartment. It didn't move fast. It didn't rush. It just stood there, patient, waiting, watching. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I couldn't look away. And that's when I realized I wasn't just watching the footage anymore. It was watching me. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Every instinct told me to run, to grab my keys, to leave the apartment. But my legs felt rooted to the floor. The shadow wasn't just standing there anymore. It started moving objects. At first it was small things. A chair nudged, a book sliding across the floor. I blinked, thinking maybe the footage was tricking me. But then I heard it, a faint scraping sound behind me. I froze. My heart pounded so hard, I thought I could hear it echoing through the walls. The book had moved in real life, not just on the screen. I swallowed, my throat dry, and whispered, "This isn't possible. This isn't real." But it was. I watched in terror as the shadow reached toward my desk. My pen rolled across the floor, as if nudged by an invisible hand. I gasped, backing away. I felt sweat dripping down my back, cold and heavy. I grabbed my phone, desperate to record something, anything. The moment I lifted it, the shadow froze. It tilted its head again, almost studying me, as if it understood what I was doing. Then it vanished from the screen. I exhaled shakily, relief washing over me, but only for a second. A crash came from the bedroom. The drawer I had locked last week was now wide open. Nothing else in the room had moved, just that one drawer. I inched toward it, trembling. Nothing should have been able to open it. And yet, there it was. I backed up against the wall, my hands gripping my knees. The laptop screen flickered, and the figure appeared again, closer than before, almost filling the frame. It didn't run, it didn't attack. It just waited, watching, patient. I whispered to myself, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have opened it. But even as I said it, my eyes were glued to the screen. I couldn't look away. And then, the final thing happened that made me understand. It knew I was afraid. It was feeding on it. The shadows in my apartment grew longer, stretching unnaturally across the floor. The pens, the drawer, the chair, everything moved slightly, just enough to unsettle me. I felt trapped, pinned by fear, by the impossible, by something that shouldn't exist. I couldn't leave. I couldn't look away. I could only watch. I couldn't take it anymore. Every nerve in my body screamed at me to shut the laptop, throw it across the room, and run. But my eyes, they wouldn't leave the screen. The shadow appeared again, closer than ever, almost filling the frame. Its edges blurred, and I could swear it stretched, reaching toward me. Not attacking, not moving violently, just watching, patient, dark, cold, knowing. I stood up shaking, backing away from the desk. The floorboards creaked beneath my weight, echoing in the silent room. My pulse was deafening. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but I couldn't move. Then, slowly, it started to fade from the footage, not vanish entirely, but blur, like a camera losing focus. And in that blur, I saw myself, my own reflection, distorted, mingling with the shadow. It was impossible. It shouldn't have been possible. I stumbled back, almost falling, and the laptop slipped off the edge of the desk. The screen cracked, light flashing wildly, then went black. Silence, darkness, nothing. I sank to the floor, shaking uncontrollably. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. All I could do was feel the emptiness, the fear, the absolute helplessness that had been building for hours. When I finally stood, the apartment was empty again. No shadow, no moving objects, no sound except my own shallow breaths. But I knew, it hadn't left. It had only waited, watched, learned, patiently. I never opened that footage again. I moved everything off my laptop. I unplugged cameras, locked doors, double-checked windows. But every night, when the house is quiet and the lights are off, I still feel it. Watching, waiting, and I know, deep down, I'll never be alone again.